Woo! Guess who's back? Back again. So I would like to tell you I've been going hard on this car, and that's why I haven't been here. But that would be a lie. I have been working on it, but not going hard. I wanted to do this video to give you guys all a little update on what's been happening with the Firebird project, the Blackwidow. I think my last video was I primered it or something and said if I forget to record something one more time, I'll be over with this YouTube stuff. And then I just never picked up the camera again. So made a lot of headway. You know, I had issues with the factory PCM, that whole deal. I went with the Ace's EFI system. So that's got the ECU and wiring harness and its own software and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, we went that route. It runs not well, but I can get a tune, and it's supposed to be self-learning. We all know that nothing's self-learning, but at any rate, we got a PCM. It's in here. It runs. We'll get it tuned. But I figured there's so much to do on this car, I'm just gonna go for it. And if we mess with the engine later. So anyway, to that end, let me show you what I've been working on. So yes, I am doing it. Suicide doors. It works. I've got these little beauty things built, and I'll show you the other side. You can see, you know, the difference. But I still got to do some body work cleanup. But yes, it works. These doors are super heavy, even though they're a composite plastic fiberglass door. They're so long that they do sag. I got to come up with some kind of a plan for that. But I moved the door handle, and that's still obviously in progress. Patched the hole where the door handle was, and then these doors came back and hit the quarter panel. So I cut in pockets so that this edge of the door will go into that pocket. Obviously, all of that stuff has to be finished up. Put new brakes and rotors all the way around. I've done new shocks all the way around. I'm in the process of filling the holes. What I did was I'll show you on this side. What I did was took some tin. There's a light around here somewhere. I took some, I call it tin, but it's actually off of a Honda Accord hood that my son-in-law left here and said he didn't want it, so I've been cannibalizing it. And so I took that and cut it to fit in where these holes were for like the door boot and the factory hinges, and I'm just in the process of doing the body work on that side. I did the same thing over here, riveted them in, put some short strand fiberglass filler on there, and then I'm just floating it out with some regular body filler, just a thin layer. So these are the new hinge holes, as you can see, and I'll show you kind of on the passenger side what we had to do. So that's the standard suicide hinge or suicide door hinge, and as you know, these doors don't have any metal, so you can't do the typical install with these, so I did some custom stuff with some steel and some unistrut and compression. I call them compression nuts, but they're spring nuts. That gives me the flexibility to adjust the door so that I get my gaps right, because the spring nuts slide in the unistrut, and then when you bolt it down, it's super tight. I still have to tighten these hinges up. They're just thrown in there, and I have to do all the body work over on this side. And then I have this other panel here to kind of beautify the front, where, you know, obviously the old hinges were, because if we take this out, you know, I don't want it to look like that when you open up the door. And I also want to keep this hole accessible, so if I need to adjust the latch, I can do that. So this just has some tabs welded onto it. And then I cut grooves, I don't know if you can see them, in the fender, so that this thing can just, it's kind of a two-handed operation, but it slides in those grooves. And then I'm gonna have it drilled and tapped, and I'll bolt it in several spots down there, just so it's removable. And it will be painted. So to go with, let me see if I could show you kind of what I did for the hinge setup. Now, I'm no welder, and I just used what I had on hand, some steel, and I don't know if you could see the unistrut. Let's bend you around here. See if we can get you down in there. So you can kind of see that unistrut in there. And it seems to work. I've put the window in. I think I've got clearance. But like I said, the doors do sag in the front. Now, my thought for that is to take, you know, an adjustable turnbuckle and a cable, and attach the cable to the back door. Let's see, to the back door here, and down in the corner there, and then just adjust the turnbuckle to keep that door from dropping. I don't know if that's going to work or not. That's the thought at this time. But both doors do open and close and latch. Obviously, I've had to rework the latching mechanism on the outside, because when you open the handle, the rod pushes down and the latch needs to be pulled up. So I put in a little lever. That works. I'll have to do the same thing for the inside door handle. I do have this door, it's turned around, but I do have this one primered. I've got tons of body work left to do. Primer, guide coat, block sand, paint. Now, I'm off for a week in June,